y'all, it's Ilana. Welcome back to my channel. So we're going to be talking about advent calendars, beauty ones specifically. So every single year, you may see on social media how beauty advent calendars tend to pop up. A lot of influencers tend to share them on social media and share what's inside these advent calendar boxes. But I want to talk about, are these beauty advent calendars even worth the hype or even the price tag? And if you don't know what an advent calendar is, basically it is a Christmas tradition. It originated in Germany, and typically they are these countdown calendars. They're three-dimensional. Sometimes you can remove pieces. There's little doors or windows, and typically there's like a little trinket or candy or something inside that you can enjoy before you wait to, I guess, get your presents on Christmas Day. Advent calendars were always like this really cute Christmas tradition, but then of course, lots of brands took advantage of the concept of advent calendars and decided to make Christmas even more commercialized than it already is now. And that's just capitalism for you. There is a huge appeal when it comes to these beauty advent calendars, and that is the mystery appeal. A lot of beauty advent calendars want to play into that mystery that you're gonna get some really special beauty item, even though a lot of advent calendars typically tell you on the back now what's inside, which kind of defeats the purpose of the mystery. And I wish that beauty advent calendars didn't share what was inside them, so it could be a mystery. And some people may argue that, you're better off knowing what you're gonna get, especially for the value, which I also think makes sense as well. But I had always thought, there should be like some sort of fun mystery to the beauty advent calendar. But a lot of brands have taken that mystery away, and I think that is because of the value, so people want to get an idea of what they're getting themselves into. And while some products can get people excited, there are many other products in the boxes that are really disappointing. I've seen some really disappointing products in beauty advent calendars. And a big controversy that happened this year was the Sephora Beauty Insider advent calendar. It cost 2,500 points, and in the description it promised skincare and makeup items. Except there wasn't any skincare or makeup in the advent calendar. It was really just beauty tools and accessory items, and that really wasn't clear. So there was a lot of backlash that Sephora got within this beauty advent calendar. A lot of customers thought they were being scammed, and they wasted all of their points to not receive any beauty makeup products. And I do think that is on Sephora for really misleading their customers, when they should have said all along that this was a beauty tools advent calendar and not a beauty advent calendar that promised them actual skincare and makeup. And that is where the outrage began, and they felt like people weren't getting their points worth out of these advent calendars. So that's exactly what I mean by people are either going to be really disappointed or really excited, and people were really disappointed with that, especially when some of them can be really misleading to begin with. I think the price versus product value is one of the biggest things that I really can't stand about beauty advent calendars. A lot of beauty advent calendars are incredibly expensive. I think the average price range that I've seen is from like $100 to $250. Some may be under $100, but I typically see them being at least $50. And people say, well, you're paying all this money for a really good value because the total value of items in this box is worth more than what you're actually paying for. But that's not always the case. There are a lot of ripoffs from beauty advent calendars where people are paying what they think is a good price, but then the product value ends up being even lower than what they paid for, or products are just not of good quality to begin with. A lot of beauty advent calendars are giving you a lot of like minis or samples or travel size items when people are really excited about, if they're gonna pay that much money, they would like to see more full-sized items. And there are plenty of beauty advent calendars that do give you full-size items. But you're gonna be paying way more money for those products. Some beauty advent calendars might do a variety of some samples, travel size, and full size products. And I can guarantee you a lot of those samples or minis aren't actually worth the value that they mention on the box. Like, I'm sorry, there is no way that a bottle this size that you're gonna get 1 to 2 uses out of is gonna be like $15 to $20 when you can get that for free as a sample from the store or as like one of those free birthday gifts that Ulta and Sephora does. So if you want a beauty advent calendar that is going to give you full-size products, then chances are is you're gonna have to pay a lot more money for you to get those products. And personally, I just don't think that they're worth the value, especially if those prices aren't gonna even match up to what you would pay for individually at the store. So I think that's one of the biggest factors, and I have seen some really good beauty advent calendars out there that may seem worth it, but you have to keep in mind is that they are hella expensive, and that's the thing that you get. If you want something that is going to give you a lot of great things, you're going to pay a lot more money for them. Another main concern that I have with beauty advent calendars is that they give you a lot of products like it's a one-size-fits-all type of thing. I believe that not all the products in those advent calendars are gonna work for everyone. Skincare advent calendars, I think, should not exist because everyone has different skincare needs. Not everyone might need a moisturizer, or not everyone might need acne treatments, or even face masks. And they're gonna not get used, and then that becomes really wasteful. I've also seen a lot of beauty advent calendars that will release a bunch of different like lipstick shades that are either like way too bright, way too warm, or not gonna even work for different people's skin tones, complexions. And it's a mess. Like, I've seen some really bad lip shade colors coming in beauty advent calendars, and I'm thinking to myself, that is a shade that I would absolutely never wear. And then you're stuck with a lipstick color that you're never going to use. So hopefully you have to find a way to give it another home so you're not wasting that product, which is something you shouldn't have had to do in the first place. Another thing with these beauty advent calendars is you either might get the same type of product from the same brand, or you might get a different product. So for an example, you could get like 3 different lipsticks between 3 different brands, or you could get 3 different types of moisturizers just in general when you don't need all of that at once. And Sephora and Ulta beauty calendars are really notorious for doing stuff like that. I think beauty advent calendars tend to be more wasteful than we think. I think packaging can be very over the top and outdone, and it causes just a lot of environmental waste. So I know I've seen like Charlotte Tilbury and P. Louise this year have really over the top extravagant packaging, and while sure packaging is cute, another thing that they don't tell you is that some of the prices of those advent calendars are expensive simply just due to the fact of the packaging, and that is another thing that misleads people into thinking that they're getting a good value when they're not, because the packaging plays a part in the price. I think advent calendars like this can become a huge overconsumption mess, and a lot of these products are going to go to waste, especially when people are getting things that are not going to be right for them. And then the last point I want to make is I see a common theme with beauty advent calendars every single year where they're either putting in products that aren't as popular or don't sell as well. Sometimes you may see some well-loved products, but I feel like you never see them enough. It's always products that people don't always fawn over, and if they are the popular products, then you're gonna get like a super duper little size. I've also seen brands reuse the same products year after year to save costs. And we damn well know that these brands have the budget to release new things. They just wanna be cheap. And I think that plays a big factor into people being disappointed when they're like, well, I got this last year, I don't need another one. And that causes a lot of like customer frustration. These are my final thoughts overall. I do think beauty advent calendars can be a fun thing for some people, especially if some people have no makeup at all, this could be like a great startup to give them a couple of beauty products. I think advent calendars in general are a really fun tradition. I think there are a lot of great alternative solutions to advent calendars in your home. I think if you give people something that is going to be useful and not wasteful, and not contribute to overconsumption, I think those are great solutions. I think even just candy is really great. But I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts on beauty advent calendars? Have you bought any beauty advent calendars in the past? Were you happy with them? Did you think they were worth it or not? Comment down below and let me know, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!